What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here. In today's video, we're going to be diving into the Ultra League, kind of getting our feet wet again in this meta, bringing Swampert, Clefable, and Cresselia. All three of these Pokemon in their own right are incredibly strong in the open Ultra League. So let me know down in the comments of these three, which one is your favorite. Me personally, it's got to be the Clefable, right? That update with Fairy Wind, it is such a good Pokemon. All right, getting into the first battle, we have Swampert on the lead versus Dragonite. So this is not a good matchup. We have to swap out right away into Cresselia. We're going to go ahead and load up on energy, and they're not swapping out, which might be a tell, but they do swap out now into Registeel. So this is, I want you guys to take account, Dragonite into Swampert. Dragonite now also has massive energy advantage, and Cresselia into Registeel. Most of you watching right now might say, you know what, that's game over, the algorithm beat me. No, it's never over until it's over. So what we need to do is get ourselves into a good position to potentially win, and that is what this team can do, as Cresselia always draws out those Registeels, which now frees up Clefable in the back end, because this Registeel is going to be out of the game, and they likely don't have another extremely hard counter right there. So we're just going to keep going for Moonblast in this situation, and thankfully we have been able to get a few attack debuffs right here, which is very nice. And they're going to have to actually throw. They can't farm me down. I think I would get to 2 more Moonblasts in time, just because the fact that they're not doing that much damage. They do go for Focus Blast. I believe they undercharge that, but it allows me to get to 1 more Moonblast right here, which is going to be enough to get them into the red. And now we have Swampert that can come in and load up on energy. You guys will see how much damage a Focus Blast does right here. This was a double debuffed Registeel, so the Focus Blast is not going to do that much. We're going to go ahead and overload on a ton of energy, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and throw the Hydro Cannon. I don't think I would have been able to get the full farm down right there. But now what you guys are going to see is the potential. Dragonite now comes in and they counter swap into Cobalion. So now this is more of a neutral matchup. It is still a double steal, but it is a Clefable into a Cobalion. That is fighting steel right here, and with Moonblast it does a lot of neutral damage. We just have to watch out for Stone Edge. Now they do shield bait me with the Sacred Sword, which is okay. I mean, it's bound to happen here. It's going to be anyone's guess if it's going to be Stone Edge or Sacred Sword, so I will just be giving up shields. We land the Moonblast as well. Now this, I want you guys to pay attention. I might actually even pause here. I want you to pay attention to what is about to happen. I'm pausing it. This is so important. As you guys climb higher, the more meta and the more advanced players you start facing off against. So what would you do in this situation? This is a rare opportunity to showcase what will happen. I banked a charge move on my Swampert, right? It has a Hydro Cannon. I'm going for Meteor Mash here to get the final shield from my opponent. What would you do? Right? You would swap into Swampert and throw the Hydro Cannon after this Meteor Mash, because then that KOs the Cobalion, right? And then it's Dragonite versus the Clefable and the Swampert, right? But my opponent knows that as well. So what you guys are going to see is a mind game tactic. Let's go ahead and play. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Meteor Mash right here. This is going to get that final shield, and then I'm going to stall. I'm just going to stand there. Oh! They counter swapped in expecting me to swap into Swampert. This is why, as you guys climb, there are these tactics. Like the tactic, I think the swap into Swampert and throw the Hydro Cannon would have worked at maybe lower ranks. I'm currently in the 2700s right now. But let's say I was at 2000 rating, right? The person that you're fighting against might not be expecting the swap into Swampert, but I know this person is. So by playing the mind game of they know what I'm going to do, so I'm going to do the opposite of that, which is the counterintuitive what I should be doing, it allows me to win. And now they have to surrender because now they are switched locked in. It's a rare occasion that happens, but when it does, you can take advantage of it. Alright, getting into the next battle, we have Swampert on the lead versus a shiny defense form Deoxys. So, we gotta kind of read what they could potentially have in the back. Obviously, defense form Deoxys being very weak to ghost-type Pokemon, so maybe a Giratina Altered or a Cofagrigus, something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is a Dark or Steel type in the back. So we want to try to play to that. Now, my opponent went for Psycho Boost and bailed, which I thought was very interesting and is an advantageous situation for Swampert because we do resist Rock Slide and Thunderbolt. So we're going to go ahead and come in with Clefable, reading that maybe, you know, our Cresselia might be a bit better. Now, Cresselia could potentially win this mid-game matchup, but I feel like they would be very inclined to start going into shields to try to win the switch against Cresselia, even though I did chunk a good amount of health because Lick is doing super effective damage. Now, what this actually does for me is it allows my Cresselia to align to defense form Deoxys and my Swampert to align to whatever is in the back. So we're just going to go ahead and go for Meteor Mashes here, as it will do a lot of neutral damage, and we did get one shield as well just a second ago. They're going to go ahead and go for another Psycho Boost, which isn't enough to KO us, and allows us to get to a Meteor Mash here. Now, I know my opponent is going to swap out, so I'm just going to go ahead and come in with Cresselia anyways to get ahead on energy, and the final Pokemon is actually going to be a Guzzlord. So, it was a Dark type in the back. It's not what I was thinking. I thought maybe Umbreon or Registeel was the two I was kind of looking for right here, but Cresselia can do very well in this matchup because we do have Moonblast, which is double super effective, right? The Dark Dragon typing right there. So, we're going to go ahead and go for one Moonblast. They decided, well, they obviously have to shield, and we're going to be able to get to another one, and this is basically going to be a good game. Now, Guzzlord is very, very tanky, which I was kind of surprised at. We do stop the crunch right there. So we're going to go ahead and go for this Moonblast, and I was surprised that actually it survives. I was like, hold on, Moonblast, not enough to KO. So I instead decide to go into Swampert, which might have been a lose condition right here, but they do throw energy, so now this is totally fine. They kind of put them in a tough position where they come in with defense form Deoxys. I can go for the Hydro Cannon here to KO the Deoxys, and then I should be able to go for Grass Knot versus the Guzzlord, which will be able to farm me down. But since they did go for a charge move against Swampert, they don't have enough energy, and that is going to be a good game. Very well played. I was concerned because I didn't know how much damage Crunch would actually do in this matchup. I feel like it would KO from that health range, which is why I went into Swampert. Good game. We got Swampert now versus Tapu Fini. So this is kind of a tough one to deal with, Tapu Fini, having Water Gun, Surf, and Moonblast. But we do have Earthquake, and we're going to go ahead and throw it right away. We just want to get some initial damage down, and then see if we can get into Cresselia to potentially catch the charge move. But they did do a great job at CMP tying me right here, which is going to force me to no shield. And then now I will go into Cresselia that I got shield advantage, and they swap in a Steelix. So if this is their best answer to Cresselia, and it is Steelix, maybe they don't have Registeel in the back, and maybe Clefable can do a potential sweep. So we're going to go ahead and go for Grass Knot here, as it is neutral damage because of that ground steel typing. Now Steelix does have access to Crunch, which will do super effective damage, but honestly not that much. They did get a defense drop, however, which is very unfortunate right there for me. So I won't be able to survive as long because the Dragon Tails and Crunches are really going to start adding up. But I can at least get this Steelix relatively low, and maybe in a position where I can farm down. But I might have to give up a shield because of the health remaining on Swampert, which is why I was really hoping to get into the Cresselia to catch the energy. So we're going to go ahead and no shield. It is going to be the Crunch once again, but we do get to the next Grass Knot in time. So this is going to get them low enough where we could come in, and I'm going to undercharge it just a little bit so that I can farm down. Now I will have to give up a shield here because this is going to do a good amount of damage, and it was the Crunch, which is totally fine. We're going to go ahead and just try to commit to the farm down right now, but they're getting a lot. Oh no, we don't get to it in time, which is so unfortunate for me. I have to give up 2 shields now and stop the Psychic Fangs. They will come in with the Tapu Fini, so I have to go for the bait. I need to get a shield with this Hydro Cannon. So we do. I'm going to go ahead and swap into Clefable, and they have a Shadow Drapion in the back. Now, this was a mistake on my end. I think I should be going for Meteor Mash right here instead of Moonblast. So I go for Moonblast thinking this might do enough neutral damage that I can farm down because they went for Aqua Tail, but it wasn't. Now we do get the attack drop, but a double Meteor Mash would have been more energy efficient for me. And you guys will see why, as I'm going to be able to win this matchup right here. This would have been way more energy efficient for me because I could have had a little bit of extra energy on this back end. Because now against Tapu Fini here, I won't be able to get to the Meteor Mash in time. As you guys can see, I was 2 fast moves away, which means if I did the double Meteor Mashes against Drapion, we would have been able to win, as I won't be able to get to an Earthquake. Oh, I will be able to get to an Earthquake in time, but this is not enough damage, unfortunately. So if we play that a bit better, that was the first time I faced off against Shadow Drapion in Ultra League with Clefable, so Meteor Mash was probably the way to go right there. Double Meteor Mash and overload a bit on energy. Good game. Alright, we got Swampert now versus Charizard. Very positive lead, and my opponent is deciding to stay in. So this tells me they are core broken, and they are core broken in a way which most likely the ground typing here, so there's going to be a steel in the back. I don't know which steel it is, but obviously a Charizard staying in like this, like, it's a huge tell. So I'm going to go ahead and give up shields here, as we do stop the Blast Burn, as it will still do a lot of damage. And they do make a great swap into Tapu Fini here. Now, Tapu Fini is going to be resisting the Hydro Cannon, but we can easily overload a bit on energy to make sure we have a Hydro Cannon ready to go, and then some. And then I'm going to go ahead and go into Cresselia because I do have Grass Knot, and we don't need to worry about any of the damage coming out from Tapu Fini, Moonblast, or Surf. It's honestly not going to do that much. And then we have Grass Knot for super effective damage, right? Now, I'm still reading that they have a steel in the back. They were core broken, right? They stayed in with Charizard. Tapu Fini was their best answer to Swampert in most situations. I could be wrong, but we're reading the steel. We don't know what steel it is, but, I mean, it could not be a steel. It could be something else, but, you know, you got to go with your gut. And so we're going to go ahead and go for Grass Knot here as we do take out Tapu Fini. Now, Charizard decides to come back in. So we're going to try to go for this Moonblast here, hoping for a potential attack debuff. And let's see if we get it right here, or if we get a shield. Yeah, no shield. They don't really need to shield any charge moves here. But they're going to go ahead and throw, which is fine by me. Remember, I have Swampert with nearly 2 Hydro Cannons ready to go. So let's see what they decide to do. It's going to be a CMP tie, so we go for the they go for the back-to-back right here, so I will shield. It is going to be Blast Burn once again. And this Hydro Cannon now is going to be forcing the final shield or just KOing the Charizard, and it gets the final shield. So let's see what they do. They swap, and it's a Registeel in the back. Okay, this is exactly what we anticipated right here. So now we need to do a counterintuitive play. I don't think I make it to the Earthquake in time, or I would have right there, but we're going to catch the charge move now on Clefable. And this is going to basically secure me the win. Not only do we catch the Focus Blast, but a Registeel cannot lock on farm down a Clefable here. Even though we have a Fairy to Steel typing, you guys are about to see what the Clefable can do. We're going to get this minty little trash can right here very, very low. And we're also going to be forcing them to throw energy because Zap Cannon is not enough to KO. So this is what's beautiful about the bulk here on Clefable. And remember, my Swampert has an Earthquake. So it has like 1.5 Hydro Cannons. And as you guys can see, they're forced to swap out and go into Charizard. And they go for this CMP tie right there. I was about to get to the Meteor Mash. So this Dragon Claw is going to be taking me out. I go for 1, 2 Mud Shots. This secures me the victory, because Hydro Cannon here is going to be KOing Charizard, and then the Hydro Cannon CMP tie against Registeel. Well, they don't have the charge move there, but you guys get it. The double back-to-back charge move secures me the win. And that is going to be a good battle, very well played. All right. Moving into the next one, we have Swampert on the lead versus Shadow Snorlax. So kind of a tough lead right here. I'm anticipating them potentially having anti-fighters in the back. So there could be a lot of things. My hope is that there's no steals, that this isn't an ABA line, meaning there's like a Snorlax and a Steel in the back, which are both weak to fighting, and then they have some kind of counter fighter sitting in the back as well. So what we're going to do is go for the back-to-back Hydro Cannon, and then we're going to look to go into Cresselia because I need to save my Swampert just in case. And they draw out, well, they had a Shadow Swampert, and that was obviously a misclick on them. So a nice, easy win right there. Good game. That happens. Sometimes players will misclick, but overall, this team was fun, and I think the lesson from this video was what we saw in Game 1. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.